Let me know if this ever actually happened to you. I mean, shoot me an email on it. I would love to be able to hear. But when you were hired by the insurance agency you worked at for the first one, or maybe even the one you're at now, when you were hired, did they give you a list of prospects to call on? Did they even say, this is the industry we want you to go after? Did they give you any kind of direction at all? I would venture to guess the answer is probably not. They probably didn't give you any kind of an idea on what to focus on, what not to, what to say, what your micro niche is, which carriers are writing the business. I would expect you were hired and they told you figure it out. Well, unfortunately, that's a problem because the vast majority of insurance agents out there don't know even what to go after. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's podcast: how to choose your most profitable micro niche. Stay tuned. Hey, everybody. My name is Charles Specht, and I am the host of the Millionaire Insurance Producer Podcast. It is great to have you with us. Thank you, Permission Nation, for being here. Today, we're going to be talking about your most profitable micro niche. Your most profitable micro niche. You know, here's a sad reality, as I mentioned even in the intro, is that most insurance agents don't know what to go after. And frankly, how can you be successful if you don't even know what the starting point is? How can you be successful if you don't even know what types of accounts to go after? And can I just do sort of a shout out to something that we're going to talk about in a little bit? Put an asterisk next to this. I want you to go to a page on my website called microniche.club. Go to www.microniche.club, microniche.club, C-L-U-B, microniche.club. I actually have a training coming out that is going to teach you the step-by-step process about how you can actually figure out and choose the best and most profitable micro niche for you based upon your strengths, your weaknesses, your agency, your geographic territory, what carriers you have available, and so forth. It's just that important. I mean, frankly, it is that important. I have one client even that I'm thinking about in the top of my head here, a relatively newer agency retainer client. I've had him for a few different months, and worked with one of their agents to go after a certain class of business. He was making a transition out of predominantly personal lines going into commercial. We focused on a particular micro niche, and he's written several dozen of these accounts in the last just few months. I mean, several dozen commercial accounts in this one particular micro niche, and it's being very, very profitable. Now we're going to be scaling it up. We're going to be scaling the size of the account, opening up the geographic territory to even go multi-state with this. It works really well. It's just that most agents don't know how to do it, and most agency partners don't know how to do it. Most agency owners and principals themselves don't necessarily know how to do it. It is a little bit of a science and art, and combining the two in order to find out the right thing that's going to work for you. Because here's the problem, is that what works for you won't work for me. And what works for me isn't going to work for the other producer down the hall from you. Is that every single person is a little bit different, if not a lot different. By that I mean, you know what? Let's just compare yourself to another producer at your agency or another producer that you know. You probably have very dissimilar personalities. You're just different. Maybe you're really good at cold calling, the other guy's not. Maybe you're terrible at email, but the other guy's really good at it. Maybe both of you are scared and nervous about doing walk-in visits, but one of you is just really good at networking events. You know what? Every single person is different. And also then, depending upon what type of micro niche you go after, your skill set might work really, really well for that particular micro niche, or it might not. It might be the absolute perfect micro niche for your agency to go after, but you're the wrong agent to go after it. Maybe you have a real good skill at doing email marketing, but you can't seem to figure out how to get the emails for the types of accounts you're going after. You just keep getting general email boxes. Well, that's not a good fit if that's really your issue. Maybe you're someone that's decent on the telephone, but you're not really good at getting past gatekeepers. Well, therefore, if you're going after a micro niche where you're going to end up having a lot of receptionists and a lot of gatekeepers on the telephone, that's going to be a problem for you. If cold calling is your primary way, you can't figure out how to do cold calling really well. You can't get around gatekeepers, but you're calling in a micro niche that has a lot of gatekeepers, you're going to struggle. You're absolutely going to struggle. And so that's what I'm saying. It is kind of difficult at times to figure this out. And that's what I want to do. I want to be able to help you figure it out. I have another client. She was a one-on-one coaching client for some time. She's been in my mastermind now for a number of months. I think close to about a year plus or so. And we worked with her because we were going through her coaching on maybe like 2 or 3 different micro niches, right? And like she just wasn't getting traction. She just wasn't getting traction. And recently, over the last few months, we started like kind of pushing her towards this one area. And man, wow, she is doing great. She is doing great in this particular sector of construction. She's just kind of focused in this one area. She's doing it now on a multi-state basis, having a lot of success. She's being invited to networking events. She's being invited on a different podcast for that particular micro niche industry, getting a lot of clients, getting a lot of opportunities to quote, getting a lot of broker of record letters, winning a lot of clients, just having tremendous success. Well, guess what? It took a few different micro niches to find the one that clicked for her. It's like that for most people. Finding the right one is like finding that needle in the haystack. It's like finding that pot of gold that just keeps on giving. It just keeps on giving. Well, everybody has it. And let me kind of even give you an example of one that is not a good fit. I've mentioned this a few times, so if you heard it, I apologize, but I feel it's an actually very good example. I am terrible at agriculture business. If I ever had to earn my living calling on farmers, I would be poor. I would be starved. They would kick me out of my house. It would be repossessed because I just can't resonate with farmers. I'm just not good with ranchers. That's just not my thing. I don't have cowboy boots. I'm not walking down your dusty furrows, down your crops. It's just not happening. I'm not going to do crop insurance. I'm not going to do ag. I'm not going to be writing farms. It's just not my thing. I'm much more of a blue collar or even white collar conference room. Like I can get along really well with attorneys and large conference rooms and people who have a like really good position. Like I could feel like I can do that very well. I also know I can do blue collar construction, but when it comes to ag, that kind of business, it's just not a good fit for me. And so the thing is I know that there are lots of people that are good at it. I actually have clients who are really, really good at it. It's just not my thing. Maybe one of the big issues about why you're not necessarily having the success that you think and know that you can have. Like you're just like, my wheels are spinning, Charles. I can't figure out why this isn't working. Might I suggest to you that it's probable that you are going after the wrong kind of business, the wrong size business, the wrong geographic territory? Could it be that maybe you're calling on a decent industry, but when you're focused down on the micro niche, it's just not a fit for you? Happens a lot. Happens a lot. But why is micro niching even important? Well, let's just kind of get back to it. If you are a quasi generalist or even just a full blown generalist, why don't you just stop it right now? Just smack your hands, punch yourself in the face, do whatever you got to do so that you stop that nonsense. Because being a generalist is basically taking money out of your agency, taking money out of your own pocket, and it's causing you not to have the success that you want. You can't really be branding yourself if nobody sees you as having anything in particular. And so micro niche producers that focus in certain verticals, not just an industry like construction, but that they go much more narrow. They go much more focused down to like plumbing subcontractors or architects and engineers that do steel trusses, things like that. When they're really kind of micro niche, they have a number of different things that generalist producers will never have. Things like they set more appointments. Micro niche producers set more appointments. If appointment setting is hard for you, being a micro niche producer is going to be one of the best things that you can do. Okay? Absolutely. You will set more appointments by being focused in a micro niche. 2, you get more signed broker record letters when you are in a micro niche. They see you as the obvious choice of which agent to do business with. And therefore, rather than just having to go through a quoting process, they sign your broker record letter, they exclude the other agent from the process, and they put their trust in your basket. Why? Because they see you as somebody who gets them, who understands them. You know the carriers, you know the coverages, you know the services that are needed, and so forth. They just see that you would be a better choice. Micro niche producers absolutely win more signed broker record letters. Therefore, micro niche producers also win more clients every single year than quasi or even generalist insurance producers. You will win significantly greater percentage of new clients if you are focused in a micro niche rather than not. Not only will you end up setting more appointments, winning more broker record letters, winning more accounts, but you're also going to be ending up writing bigger accounts. By bigger, I mean more revenue. You will be writing larger revenue generating accounts because you are focused in your micro niche. It's actually easier to compete at a much higher level when you are focused in a narrow sector. You just become the obvious choice of which agent to do business with. And not only that, but you start getting a lot of traction. It's like a snowball. Okay, you see snow on the ground. You got to reach down. You get some snow and you start packing it. Right, you pack it, and you can throw that thing if you want, or you know what, you can just take it and you can start to build on it. You can like put it on the ground. You can start rolling it, and before you know it, you get this huge ball of snow, and you can actually build a snowman. Like that's what happens with the momentum of being a micro niche. It starts out with just like an opportunity. It's like there's snow on the ground. Great. There's the opportunity. Well, pick it up. Reach down and pick up the opportunity. Reach down, pick up the opportunity and start to form it. Start to shape it. Start to mold it. Make the ball and then decide what you're going to do with it. Because once you start to actually get momentum, it just grows and it grows and it grows and it grows to the point in which micro niche producers also get more referrals. Micro niche producers get more referrals from current clients. They get more referrals from centers of influence. And I would say, certainly, like if referrals or centers of influence are something that you excel at, then picking the right micro niche is going to be imperative for you because there are inherently some industries out there that are just better for referrals than others. Okay. So I think, like, just as an example, when I think about accounts like maybe child daycare, alcohol rehabilitation centers, urgent care centers, well, you know what? They're not really competing against one another. And therefore, they're much more likely to refer you into other accounts, other businesses or organizations that they know of because they're not really competing internally against others that are like them. They're in business, but they're not really competing. They're not trying to take clients away from one another per se. And so they know one another. And so they're usually much more likely to refer others in their own industry to you if you've done something good on their behalf. Whereas other industries might not necessarily be like that. Okay. If you write roofing contractors, it's unlikely the roofing contractor is going to refer you into his competitor. Just not going to happen for the most part. Right. So some industries are just better for referral business rather than others. So if that is a primary focus of yours, if you're just really good at networking, really good at schmoozing, really good at getting people to trust you, and getting referral business is something that you want to focus on, then therefore picking the right micro niche is going to be the difference between making decent money versus building a $1 million book of business in like 2 to 3 years max. Starting from zero and going from 2 to 3 years at $1 million of commission is absolutely doable if you're in the right micro niche and even looking for something like referral partners. Absolutely can be done. You just have to be going after the right types of accounts. You're certainly not going to get to $1 million book of business if you're writing stuff that's like $4,000 a premium. That's not going to happen. And so you will write bigger accounts if you're micro niche. You will write more accounts if you're micro niche. You will get more set appointments. You will win more broker of record letters. You will get more referrals. This is a beautiful thing. By the way, do you remember that I told you to go to www.microniche.club? I want to tell you about this training that I'm going to be doing because it's really going to be helpful for you. It's not going to be expensive. It's going to be relatively inexpensive. But what the goal here is that I want to teach you how to find the perfect thing that's going to fit for you. Because if you find that right thing, everything else gets better. Everything else gets better. And can I just speak to the agency owners and the principals and the partners for a minute? What would happen at your agency if each of your producers had their own narrow micro niche in which they were going down after and they were just flat out killing it? I mean, just bringing in new client after new client after new client, and they were just excited. They had energy. That motivation was just going through the agency like a ripple effect. And you've got a bell in your office, the bell's being rung all the time because you've got producers who are out there doing the work, and they're actually excited about this industry because they're setting appointments, they're getting signed BORs, they're renewing accounts, they're winning accounts. That's exciting. You know what's not exciting? Being a quasi generalist, working on a list of accounts that really have no reason for you to be working on it, and just making cold call after cold call after cold call, and nobody wants to meet with you because you're not saying anything that's really resonating with anybody. You don't have anything that is even worthwhile for meeting with you. You know what? That's not fun. That's a terrible way to spend your career. That's a terrible way to spend your life. Why not rather than have agents focus in a certain area and be doing really, really well where they're making more money, your agency is making more money, and they're much happier. So I want to tell you the the promise of the micro niche for the producer is that everything's going to be better. It's really going to be better. And from an agency perspective, it actually takes care of a lot of things. I mean, how many of your agencies are pulling their hair out because they've got all of these small accounts in multiple different industries, and you have to renew all these accounts. You don't even know which carriers are writing it, who's competitive, and so forth. You know what? If you're a micro niche producer, you don't have to have 60 different appointments with 60 different carriers. You don't have to have that. Two, three, four, maybe max. That's all you need. You just need a small handful of carriers in order to dominate your space. That's it. You just have to have a handful of carriers that are going to dominate your space. Absolutely. It becomes so much easier. You don't even really, frankly, need a full blown marketing department anymore. Imagine what could happen if you're one of those sort of medium sized agencies that have a marketing department. Tell you what if we just didn't have to hire marketers anymore? What if you could just have that done with the producer because he or she knows the industry, they know which carriers it's going to be placed with, and then they're the ones who are maintaining the relationship, and the account manager and the producer are working together just to get it out to those three or four carriers. Like, wouldn't that be better? I think it would be better. I really do. How much more profitable could your agency be if you went that route? So let me just tell you, if you are one of those agency principals or partners who are hiring these producers and you're handcuffing them from the very beginning, well, I'll tell you what, punch yourself in the face. Smack your hand. Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? I'm just joking around. Don't punch yourself in the face. But why would you do that? Why would you hire these people, give them tens of thousands of dollars, and not give them the tools to succeed at your agency? It's not as though the tools are hard. They're not hard to figure out. They're not hard to come by. It does require some work. It is going to require some work figuring out which ones are going to be a great fit for your particular producers in your agency. But it's not like it is a really hard thing. I mean, it can be done pretty quickly. And it's going to be one of the most exciting things that's going to be done when they finally have clarity on what they're going after. And they now have clarity on their script. And they now have clarity on their timeline of services. They have clarity on the carrot that they're dangling in front of the insured in order to meet with them for 30 minutes because they now know what to say to push the buttons with that particular micro niche prospect. I'm just telling you, everything gets better when your producers know what they're going after and what they're not going after. And by the way, let me just say, this doesn't matter if you're doing commercial property and casualty. It doesn't matter if you're an EB producer doing employee health benefits. Literally doesn't matter. The micro niche is the focus because it helps you with branding. It helps you with social media. It helps you with email. It helps you with cold calls. It helps you with networking events. It helps you with all of that stuff because at the end of the day, you can only call on so many accounts every day, every week, every month anyway. You can't call on every single account that's out there. You can only call on so many. Might as well call in one main area where we've already done the homework, where we're going to have much more greater success. You're going to be able to set more appointments in this particular sector. It's going to be so much easier to prospect in this sector. Why not do that? Why would you rather be a generalist thinking, well, I can just write anything. I can call on anything. Yeah. Well, guess what? How's that working out for you? Like, how's that working out for you and your agency when your producers can technically call on anything? Are you happy with the success? Are you yourself writing a lot more business because you are a generalist or quasi generalist? Are you writing bigger accounts? I would venture to guess not. I would venture to guess not. But it's no different if you are a commercial property and casualty agent, or if you are doing commercial employee health benefits, or even frankly if you are a personal lines agent. You can actually even begin to micro niche yourself into certain sectors. You can do high net worth, or maybe you just come across and begin to position yourself as somebody who truly understands personalized needs for plumbers. And so you're calling on lists of plumbing accounts, not to sell insurance to the plumbing entity, but maybe to do the personalized insurance for the business owner who's the CEO of the plumbing company. Maybe that's how you brand yourself, because guess what? They have more toys, they have extra homes, they got vacation, they make more money, they have a Ferrari in the garage. They're just making more money. Why not go after that account rather than maybe going after something that's like a $1,500 homeowner policy? You can micro niche. That's an option. That's definitely an option. I think it's a good option. I think it's a good option. I think you should choose it, which is why you should go to microniche.club and begin to sign up for this training we're going to be having. Microniche.club, www.microniche.club. It's going to be something that's set up specifically to help you. Why don't you just say to yourself, enough is enough? Enough is enough. I don't want to play this game anymore. If you're not making the kind of money that you want to make, I would tell you that it's really not that much that has to change in order to get yourself down the right path. If you're traveling down the wrong path right now and you're just like your wheels are spinning, you're not really getting any traction, tell you what, the most foolish thing to do would be continue to go down that path. That wouldn't make any sense. Why not we just put you on a different path, give you the right tools, script, messaging, carrot, email, cold call, all that. We give you the right micro niche carriers to go after. We put together your time and services and off you go. Imagine how much better your days would be, how much more money you will make, how much more success you will get, how many more new clients. I mean, you like getting new clients, don't you? I like getting new clients. It is a shot in the arm of adrenaline every time somebody chooses you, isn't it? I mean, that's exciting. Don't we? Every time you do a quote or you're just meeting with an insured, and whether you get a signed broker of record letter or you finally just get the bind order, like that is fun. That's fun, right? That is a straight up fun. That's a whole lot of fun. That is exhilarating. That is exciting. That's the kind of stuff that producers love. They love the hunt. Account managers don't love the hunt. Account managers like making a small salary every single year. They don't want to have to worry about commission. They're not out there trying to hunt. They're out there servicing. That's good. We need account managers. It's just that they're not a producer. Producers like to hunt. Producers like to win. It's a whole lot easier to win when you know what you're going after. I mean, how difficult is it to actually like fish and be successful at fishing if you have no idea what you're going to fish for? And so you're like, well, I don't know. I'll try this lure. And you're just kind of like, maybe picking, I don't know, I like blue, or how about rainbow? I like rainbows. I'll put on a little rainbow lure or like a pink lure, or you're not going to be able to be successful fishing depending on the type of body of water you're going after if you don't know what you're trying to fish for, and therefore you have the wrong lure. It's like that in almost anything. It's really hard to be successful in a sport if you don't have the right equipment. It's hard to win a war if you don't have tanks. It's hard to win at certain things if you don't have the right information, the equipment that you need in order to be successful. And frankly, that is what a generalist insurance producer is. It is somebody who has lots of hopes, lots of ambition, no equipment, and therefore they struggle. Therefore they struggle. Well, microniche.club could be a place for you to start, because I'm going to give you the tools on what you need in order to be able to find the right type of business to go after so that you can be successful. I want to kind of end with this. Okay. I want to end with this. Some of you, and I have a lot of different demographics of people who listen to the podcast. By the way, I just love that you listen to podcast. In fact, I love it so much. I would love for you to even go and leave a review. Just, man, if you could do that, that'd be great. 5-star review. That really helps to get the word out. But, I just thank you for listening. And I know that I have men, I have women, I have property and casualty, I have employee health benefits, I have captive agents, from different captive companies, direct writers. Like I have account managers that want to eventually go into production, all kinds of people. I just want you to do something for yourself. If you found the right micro niche, you would be so much happier just a few months from now if you found the right one. You would be so much happier with your success because you would have clarity. A year from now, you would be making significantly more money in commission and bonus because you found the right micro niche. That's why I truly believe that figuring out what to go after, your micro niche, is the very starting point of a millionaire insurance producer. I literally don't know of any, at least off the top of my head, I can think of, who are successful insurance agents with $1 million or more book of business. And we're always talking commission, by the way, I'm not talking premium. $1 million of annualized commission who, if they don't have a micro niche, they're not there. The ones that I know that have $1 million or $2 million or even above that, they are focused in one main area and they double down, they triple down, they just continue going down that path. They write bigger accounts, larger accounts, more accounts. It just works. It just works. It's amazing how many quasi generalist agents I know that have $100,000, $150,000, maybe even a $200,000 book of business, and they just can't figure out like where to go next. They just can't figure out how to make more money or what to do next. It is wonderful to think about how many micro niche producers I know that are just flat out dominating their space. I mean, I've like some producers I know of, like off the top of my head, like, I know one producer. He's in Canada. He does this one type of business. He's a client of mine. He does this one type of business. He writes more of this business than any other agent in Canada. Any other agent in Canada, he writes more of that business. I have other clients that do the same thing. That particular micro niche, I have one in particular I'm thinking, he writes more than at least on the East Coast of any other agents that I know of, let alone down the middle of the United States or off to the West. Like just dominating that particular space. That can be you. Why isn't it you? Why aren't you allowing yourself to have that kind of success? It's not too far from you. It's within your grasp. And I do believe that starting at microniche.club, www.microniche.club, would be the right place to begin. And so, my name is Charles Specht. I am the president and CEO of Permission Network, where I teach and train insurance agents just like you how to build a $1 million or more book of business through signed broker of record letters. This is the Millionaire Insurance Producer Podcast.